Well, what a joy it is to be looking back with you after this 5-year experiment called Psalmist Mission. I remember when I was doing a beta of a worship institute at Fresno Pacific University, and I felt like the Lord said, John, raise up trustworthy psalmists. That wasn't a word I used often. Psalmist, I didn't process with trustworthy, and yet psalmist being a musician for God and one that God could trust, it was like it crystallized this mantle that I didn't fully understand for 20 years what I was carrying, to be a psalmist on mission for God. And now the psalmist families have grown to almost 90 across California. They're leading worship in more churches than I can even count. And now this movement of discipling psalmists is becoming a national and international conversation. I see an emphasis in our culture to create content, sermons, podcasts, videos, and music, and less of an emphasis to focus on the individual. And yet Jesus said, go make disciples. And we are seeing his huge grace as we focus on that journey. 9 months is a long journey, and that only begins the process, but the fruit that's been coming out of it has been amazing. As you know, we released the Bow Everything record, and the psalmists we discipled for this first time in my life had discipleship in the DNA. And then this year, through one of the most costly seasons of my life, the Lord gave us a song called Symphony of Peace, and we made a choir of 4 years of our Psalmist Mission grads as a choir on this song. And so now, this year, incredible opportunities with Worship Leader Magazine, CCM, William Jessup University, podcast interviews, different countries, and TV spots sharing the music only open up the door to speak of a greater work, which is discipling other musicians. This movement now has become an experiment that can be injected in all kinds of other regions. To see it touch national and international leaders, I've been so moved. A couple months ago, my wife and I were invited to be part of this global gathering of leaders with thousands of leaders from 130 different nations, covenanting together. Could we bring the gospel to every human by 2033, marking the 2000th year of Jesus' resurrection? I'm seeing how music and the Psalmist Mission journey is being injected into realms we have no business partnering with. Worship Leader Magazine, which is a 25-year journey that's been the national voice to worship leaders across the nation, we are now formally partnering with. I'm amazed to see what God has done in this little experiment out of California, and the idea of raising up an army and inspiring many others to do the same seems like an honor of a lifetime. And as God is shaking this earth, it's amazing to see how God uses music to heal in ways that only him and his spirit can do, and use it as a vehicle to carry the gospel. And so raising up worship leaders and missional psalmists on these last days seems to be so much part of what the Father has planned, and I feel so honored to be a part of it. So I would covet with you, would you continue to pray with us? Would you continue to stand with us financially so that this engine could raise up and serve worship leaders all over the nation and internationally, to serve their local church, lift up their pastor's arms, be missional, have the scripture in your heart, have virtue as well as skill in their craft, and carry the gospel in these last days. Only the Lord knows where he's going to take this journey. Thank you for standing with us as we raise up psalmists to be trustworthy and on mission for God. This is Psalmist Mission.